Hey guys, it's Stoof here. Welcome back to my painting channel. Alright, so I had a little bit of technical difficulty with the initial live stream, but we got it going back up here. I always mess up the orientation of the video, but this time I think I got it right here. So just let me know if you have any trouble with seeing the video or if anything looks off. But today we're going to do a tropical sunset acrylic painting. This is what we're going to do. I did a poll on my Instagram asking if you wanted to see a tutorial for this painting or if you wanted me to do a poinsettia painting, like a Christmas themed flower painting. And that tropical sunset painting won by a pretty good number. It was about 63% of the votes were for this guy and about 30 something percent of the votes were for the poinsettia. So we're going to do that tropical painting today. It's a nice painting to get us out of the cold winter weather and into a nice tropical mindset, right? All right, so I have some acrylic paints here. We're going to have a light yellow, this is like a cadmium yellow medium. These are all acrylic paints. We have white, black, cadmium red medium. This is more of an alizarin crimson type of red. This is like a burnt sienna orange. We have like a sky blue. We have a ultramarine blue, a phthalo green back there. This is like a sap green, and we have a pink because I want to throw a little bit extra fun color into my sunset sky here. So those are our colors. This is my palette. It's just a piece of wax paper, nice easy disposable palette. And then we're going to look at my brushes real quick here. So I don't have too many brushes for this one. I don't think I'm going to need too many. I just have a large brush that's kind of a not really a flat-tipped brush. It's like a little bit on the round side there. And then we have a medium flat-tipped brush. And we have two smaller round-tipped brushes, and then we have an angled brush. It's like a medium-sized brush. So you don't really need too many brushes for this one. If you want to use more brushes, you can. That just means you'll have to do less washing of your brushes if you use more brushes. Also have a paper towel for dabbing the excess paint off my brushes, and a cup of water to clean off my brushes. Now for the canvas, we just have a 12-inch by 12-inch canvas here, and we're going to be working on this one today. So now that we're all set up with our station, I'm going to get the camera set up. Let's make sure it's in focus. Hi, Ozzy. Oslam just said, hi, Steph. How's everybody doing today? Alrighty. And I also have a mic today. One of my last live streams, we had a comment that it was hard to hear me, so I got a mic for today's live stream. And I'm wearing my Santa hat, all ready for Christmas and the holidays. Alright, I'm just going to sit right here and try to stay out of the way. And I also have my hot chocolate all ready to go. All right. So looking at this painting, I think I want to start with the horizon line where the water meets the sky. So for that, I'm not going to focus too much on color yet. I'm actually going to use my angled brush. I'm just going to focus on kind of getting an eye for where everything is. So I'm really just going to blend some light blue with black, and I'm going to water that down. And this horizon line is just above the halfway point across the canvas. All right, next I'm going to do a little line here for this nice little row of palm trees. There we go. And I think I'm going to hold off from painting in these palm trees until I get all of that sky in the background filled in. And then I'll start to add my palm trees. Since we're using acrylic paint, it should dry pretty quickly. So yeah, first sketch is pretty simple. Just get your horizon line painted in, and then that little piece of land that kind of sticks out into the water where our palm trees are going to be. All right, so to get started, we're going to look at what we have here. So we have lots of pink and purples closest to the horizon. We have a couple of clouds here that are like a faded blue, gray, purple color. So I think first I'm just gonna start with my pink and blend some orange with the pink. Let me check if you guys can see that. Yeah, you can see that. Oh, nice. Okay, Marie asked if she can request to draw a family picture. So let's check that out again. Nice. I could do you mean a picture of your own family, or like just you want to learn how to draw people and you want some help with that? Let me know what you're asking there. All right, but you guys can see this palette. I'm gonna keep working while we're waiting there. All right, so I just got pink, orange, a little bit of white, and I'm just gonna take my brush and do back and forth brush strokes, holding the brush like this. A little bit of that dark color is bleeding up into my lighter color, but that's okay. We're gonna have a decent amount of layers in the sky, so it'll all get covered up. All right, a little more purple, hint of blue. Now, since we're getting closer to the edges, then we have even more blue on this side, so I'm gonna make that more blue. I'm gonna get the excess paint off my brush so I can let that color blend in with my more pink orange color. Just kind of go over that pink orange color again to let it blend in with the other colors I put on the sides. Alrighty, and then I'm gonna clean off my brush again just on the paper towel. I don't need to actually rinse it off. Now I'm mixing orange with some of that medium yellow. And now we're gonna blend this into our colors that were already down there. Just gonna let this go all the way up. All right, and then a little more orange. Let's try some of this really bright yellow. Ooh, that's a really nice orange. Just gonna put that right here. It's a really nice sunset orange. Just gonna take more of that yellow. Now I'm going to take some white, and I'm going to dab that white over my yellow. Just let it blend up into like a nice faded yellow. And just keep adding more and more white until you get that less saturated, nice bright yellow. Almost like an orange yellow. And we're doing that all the way across. So we are going to have some clouds in our sky, but I'm not worrying about those yet. First, I'm just working on the sky color in the background. More yellow. Oh, that's nice. Sunsets are fun to paint. Lots of colors. Now we've got mostly white up here. This is where it starts to cool back down, the color of the sky. It's starting to get a little closer into the blues again. Just going back and forth with the brush. All right, now I'm going to take a little hint of the light blue. You know what? I'm going to rinse off my brush. Look at that warm paint colors off of the brush. Then I'm going to take the excess paint off on my paper towel. Now we can take some white and a hint of that light blue and work on the cooler part of the sky at the top. And I'm just blending that back and forth right down into my yellow, very, very light pale yellow that's still wet. And look how nice and smooth that transition is. You can barely even tell that these are two different sets of paint here. It's just a nice smooth transition of color. All right, have even more of that blue. I'm gonna put a hint of phthalo green. Let's see how that looks. Ooh, that looks nice. All right, so we're gonna do a little bit of that up at the top of our sky. And just blend that right down. If you have too much paint on your brush, just dab it right off. Take some more white even if you need to. Just blend those colors right back into each other. So I've done the same brush stroke for the whole painting so far, the same back and forth brush stroke, holding the brush like this. All right, so now we've got like a nice background for the sky. I'm going to check the chat real quick, and then we can start adding some clouds and working on the watercolor. Nice. All right, so Awesome said, looks so much better than being in the snow. I can totally agree with that. Oh, nice. Fultz Art, hey, how's it going? I know, I want to live in the sunset painting too. We have snow outside. It's like 15 degrees Fahrenheit today. Okay, Marie wants to do her own family. Nice. That's a great idea. All right. Alrighty, so we got our sky background all started. And next we're gonna work on, I think I'm gonna let the sky dry for a tad while I work on the water. And then we can go back to the sky and we can add our clouds. So for the water that's the farthest away from us is like a brown almost. I think it's like trying to reflect the sky. Ooh, added a dab of that red and it made it really purple. Let's add some phthalo green to that red, and now we have a cooler color, and now we're warming it back up, and it looks pretty close to what I'm seeing here. So it's like almost like a neutral gray, like a warm gray. So we'll try that, and you want to get really nice and close to that horizon line that you painted. Try to make your line as flat as possible. So you notice before I was holding the brush like this. Now I'm holding the brush like this. That's helping me to get a nice straight line for my horizon line here. And I do want to add some color in there. I'm going to take the excess paint off my brush. And I'm just going to mix some green and light blue, a little bit of that cool blue. Yeah, that's close enough. Now we got this really cute pastel green color. I'm still only using this large brush. I haven't switched to a finer brush yet. Also, I'd like to add a little purple back there. So I'm going to mix this blue with a little bit of my cool red and see if we can get some. Ooh, that's nice. Not really seeing that in the actual picture, but I like how it looks. Make it a little more green. I guess that's a little more natural. There we go. And if your lines get a little bit wavy, once they're under the horizon line, that's okay, because that just kind of makes them look like little waves. Just going back and forth, making little lines there. All right, now I want to reflect some of the colors that are in the sky back here. So I'm gonna clean off my brush. I'm gonna go back for that pink color. So we had white, pink, and orange. I'm gonna throw some of that right down here. And I'm gonna throw some of that brighter orange over here. I'm just gonna let that fade in without over blending. If you over blend, it's gonna turn into like a brown color. So you wanna just like get the paint on there and go over it right at the top so it looks kind of like it's blending in just a little bit. Then maybe a little more of this light green color for this spot here. And I'm holding the brush like this again, not like this, so I can get finer, more detailed lines. All right, cool. So that's looking pretty good. I'm gonna take a little bit of white here too, I think, with a hint of blue. Just see if I can get like a little more of that blue on the horizon over here. All right, maybe a hint of this dark blue again too. All right, now we're good with the background part of the water. And I'm gonna work on the grass. So the grass, we have green and brown. And we'll do a little bit of phthalo green too, since it's kind of a cooler green. And you don't have to make this little piece of land go all the way across your painting. You can just make it come out halfway if you just want like a couple palm trees, or you can make it cover the whole canvas. And I'm just very lightly putting this paint on here. Okay. So I'm using that gray again, and I'm just making like a really thin line here. Then we have some of our brown. Gonna use that here. Actually, I'm gonna mix some black with that. A little bit of red too. Give us a nice little shadow. For down here, we have like a little dock type thing. Just putting like little dabs of red in there. Give us a little more color. All right, looks nice. Maybe like a hint more yellow too. Just to give us a little bit of light still hitting the land. There we go. All right, I'm gonna check the chat, then I'm gonna work on the water in the bottom. Oh, Kirsty's here. Hi, Kirsty. Nice. Very good. All right, so now we're gonna work on the, oops, let me put the chat back down. Okay, now we're gonna work on this water in the foreground. I'm gonna clean off my brush and start with carrying down that warm color again. So we have yellow, orange, white, hint of pink. Same back and forth brush strokes. And here I'm starting to kind of keep track of where the clouds are for the, excuse me, for painting the water. So there's going to be a little more variation in color down here. Take some more white. I'm going to take that green color again. Just go back and forth, let that blend right in with my other colors. And let's see, we'll keep it warm for a minute. Let me take that cool color off my brush. We have lots of nice pinks over here. If that color from the little stand there starts blending into your water, that's okay, because we're going to have some shadows coming in there anyway. Nice bright orange. So this is just like a base color here. I have a lot more detail I'm going to add to the water, but for now I'm just kind of seeing where in general these colors are going to be. Alright, so now I'm taking my phthalo green, some white, some blue, and maybe a little bit of that yellow. How's that look? Maybe a little more blue. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Alright, and ooh, yeah, that's really nice. Okay, so that color is going to go down here. And we're still going to have to put the reflection of the palm trees in the water too. And that's going to come last when we add the palm trees. And it's very helpful to work quickly because your acrylic paint doesn't fully dry yet, so you can still blend your colors. Or if you have a medium that slows down drying time, you could use that too. Alright, I'm going to add some more blue and phthalo green. And we're going to blend that in. That's going to make our dark foreground, which draws our attention to the brightest part of the canvas. Just like very loosely letting the brush excuse me, make some darker spots here with this color I just made. A little bit more of that yellow. Now I'm just making some ripples. And your ripples are going to get smaller, closer together, the farther away they are. A lot more white, some light blue, hint of yellow, a little more yellow. Alright, that's a good color for here. A little more green. I'm going to mix green with red and yellow. There we go, that's closer to what I'm looking for. Yeah. You just kind of keep building on these little ripples, making some darker spots and some lighter spots. All right, now I'm going to switch to my medium flat tipped brush. I'm going to add some white to that light sea green color I made, and I'm just going to add a couple more little ripples back here. Going all the way up to that little piece of land. All right. Next, we're going to take some yellow and white and a hint of orange. Okay, a little more than a hint. There we go. And I'm going to do the same thing. Continue these ripples. Holding the brush this way, not this way, so that I can get nice fine little lines. Making my ripples get smaller as they get farther away and bigger and thicker as they're closer to the foreground. Take some more white here. Throw on there. Stir a little bit. I'm gonna kind of blend these warm and cool colors a little bit and get a nice medium color to put in between the ripples here. So it's already starting to look like water. The more ripples we add and the smaller they are going back, the more realistic it's going to keep looking. Right. Let's see, we got a couple more of this light green kind of color in here. We are going to have some black in these waves here too. Go back to that light color. I'm adding the lighter ripples over the darker ripples. A little more here. Yellow and white. And I'm going to do a little hint of orange here too, I think. Bring this nice bright color back. Now we've got some more of that here. And, oops, a little brighter over here too. Just let that blend right down. Alrighty. Alright, now that our sky is a little more dry, I'm going to take some of that orange, yellow, and white. I'm going to brighten this up just a tad here. Well, it didn't really brighten it up much. Maybe just yellow is what we need. Yep, there we go. Just yellow. Blend that in with some white. And some really bright yellow. And there we go. All right. I gotta blend it back down into that orange now. Alrighty, cool. Now we can work on our clouds. Gonna check on the chat real quick. Let's see here. Oh, Tiffany! Hey, Tiffany, how's it going? Nice. Milo Pro canvases. I'm not sure what those are. Was that a question for me? Nice. I'll either stretch my own canvases or I just use the canvases from Michaels. Like for this video, this probably isn't a piece I'm gonna sell, so this is just one of those value pack canvases from Michaels that are pretty cheap. But when I do my oil paintings for commissions and for paintings that I sell, those ones I either stretch my own canvas or I use the level 3 canvas from Michaels, which is a gallery wrapped heavy duty canvas. So I don't know if that helps you out at all, but I'm not sure what the Milo canvases are. Okay, so let's go back here to the painting. It's starting to look like some water. All right, now we're gonna work on the sky. So we got some clouds up here. I'm using my smaller round-tipped brush, and I'm gonna take some blue, mix into that green color that we already had. I'm gonna add some white. And we're gonna do some puffy clouds here. So I have a couple different ways I could approach these puffy clouds. I think the way I'm gonna approach them is I'm not gonna water down the paint. Sometimes I do that. I think I'm gonna just kind of let them go. Maybe I'll do like a hint of dry brushing. I'll take another paper towel just in case I need it. And this is how I would do that. So I would get the excess paint off the brush and I would just kind of make these puffy little cloud puffs. And kind of like some little streaks like that for the parts that are more like cirrus type clouds. And then for the more cumulus puffy clouds, I just kind of let the brush dance around a little bit. Taking the excess paint off the brush so it looks kind of like not a super thick application of paint, like almost like you could see through it. And then layering up on those parts that are where the cloud's a little thicker. And I can dip it in water for the parts that I want to drag out too a little bit. So that just kind of thins the paint down and lets me get this nice cirrus cloud type of look. And we actually do have quite a bit of these types of clouds right here. And again, you just layer it up where you want the cloud to be a little bit less see-through, a little bit less translucent, then you just layer on more and more paint in those sections. And if you want to draw it out or make it look more translucent, you just can add a little bit of water, or you could try using a medium. Got little bits of the clouds turning more purple down here. All right, let's see, let's keep working on these puffy clouds. Got a few more over here. And I'm holding the brush very loosely so the brush can kind of move around and do its thing. Almost turns a little more cirrus over here. These two clouds almost meet, looks like. Just like gently going over the spots that I just painted. Try to make these clouds a little puffier. Making them a little bit thicker or more saturated or darker in some spots. Alright, so now we got those clouds done. Next I'm going to work on the clouds that are closest to the bottom. So we have light blue and pink. And what else? Try some orange. Yeah, little bit of that, oops, a little bit of that red and some white. That's looking pretty good. Okay, so we'll put a cloud here. This is just like a nice purple cloud, nice warm purple. And some of these clouds are going to be covered up by trees, so you don't have to make your clouds totally perfect because they're going to be behind some trees. Just when I kind of have the color and the basic shape down. This cloud's kind of moving across the horizon here a little bit. And we have like a little more green, brown color in the cloud at the bottom. Something like, I still kept it pretty warm. It does looks more green in the photo, but I don't really know if I like that. All right, and then we have some parts on the cloud where the sun that has set is still reaching this cloud, so it is like illuminated a little bit. So I'm going to go back and use my orange mixed with my yellows and my whites and just kind of throw some like nice little outline on the cloud. Show that the light's still hitting it a little bit. Also have some pink there. This pink's just kind of blending right on in with the cloud. Alright, and then down here is where we have that more green color I'm still not a fan of. Got like a hint of that green color up here too. Alrighty. A little bit of a shadow to the base of the cloud. And now we got that cloud all basically done. Alright, now we can move over to the next set of clouds that are a little more on the green-blue side. And this one just kind of goes like this and just kind of builds up, and the color is like so nice. It's like a complementary color against that yellow and the orange. This just kind of connects with that cloud right there. Leaves a nice little space. Still using my small round tipped brush here. Alright, and then we've got some spots where this cloud has more of like a pinkish purple highlight on the outside, maybe still a little orange, but just kind of like this. Add a little bit of color around the edge. We still got some light hitting that cloud. Went a little overboard there. There we go. I'm gonna make it a little bit lighter too at the tops. It's kind of like building, give it a little bit of texture. And we'll make it a little darker at the bottom. Maybe add a hint of purple, that pink color, which will make it more purple. Yeah, it looks nice. And we'll let that blend up. Good. And we got one more cloud. Oh, actually, we got a couple more clouds. All right, we'll do this real quick. We got a nice set of warm clouds here. These will just kind of fade out. Take the excess paint off the brush. Let it just fade out there. Use a little more orange and yellow. And I'm going to use some pink too. Pink with yellow does not look good. Maybe we'll do some pink, red, and white, and orange. There we go, that's a better color. Just kind of let that blend in with the cloud. Got another cloud right here. It's going to blend in with that, and then we've got one like right here. And we'll take that nice orange color again. And take some yellow. Let's blend it in. I'm just taking the excess paint off my brush now and letting that blend. And the clouds I just put into the sky. I'm going to take some more yellow, just really layer that yellow on. Yellow is not a very opaque color, especially when you use the acrylic paint version of yellow. So you have to really put a thick layer of paint on there. It's a really nice warm color, I like that. All right, good. So now we got those clouds in. Got a little bit of pink. That makes like a darker shadow in the back though. All right, good. All right, now those clouds are done. All right, and we can work on the last cloud I'm going to put in here is another almost gray cloud with like a hint of blue in it, I'd say. And it's gonna go just right here. All right, looks pretty nice. And do like a hint of white mixed in with that so we can get a couple little highlights there. And then a little shadow too. Nice, alrighty. Just throw like a little bit of a shadow cloud over here too. Just for fun. Give a little more balance. Alright. Now we are ready to work on the palm trees. So the palm trees are not totally black. I'm just gonna mix the black with this orange, yellow, white that I already had on the canvas. I'm gonna add a little bit of this burnt sienna. And that's going to give us a nice color for the base. Maybe let's add some red too. Let's make it like, there we go, more like a cool brown. And we'll add some light blue too so we can lighten this up a bit, because that's a little dark. Okay, so we have like a really dark gray purple color for the palm trees. And now I'm going to check the chat, see if anybody else is chatting. Nice. Fly away, Tiffany Gardner. Hello, how are you doing? Thanks for joining me. Okay, thanks guys. All right, so now I'm gonna keep working and we're gonna work on the palm trees. I have to keep catching myself because I'm trying to say pine tree, but I may have actually said pine tree, but I'm trying to say palm tree. All right, so the palm trees, if you look at the reference photo, they're going farther away from us down here. Like these palm trees are all about the same size, but in the painting, this palm tree is less than half the size of this palm tree because it's so much farther away from us. So keep that in mind when you're painting your palm trees, that, whoops, the ones that are the closer to you are going to be taller. All right, so all I'm doing is just like a little straight line coming down, and then I'm just going to space them evenly, and they're actually going to get a little closer together as the trees are getting farther away from us as well. And then you want to bring your base down to about, halfway on the grassy area there. All right, so now I'm going to switch to my medium-sized flat-tipped brush because I can get a thinner line with the brush. And I'm just going to get that cleaned off, get the paint off of it, and I'm going to take the brush, dip it in that paint color for the palm trees, and now we're going to start to add some more. So you can see that line's a little thinner at the top. And I can make it thinner all the way. Just gotta be careful with how much paint I put on that brush. There we go. So we got our bases for the palm trees. Now we can add, we're going to do the shadows, or the reflections last. So I'm going to start working on these palm tree limbs, the branches. So I'm just mixing my phthalo green with my sap green. I'm going to take some yellow and I'm going to take some red. And that's going to give me a nice dark brown green color, dark brown green. And the more red you add, the more brown your green becomes. That's kind of what I'm going for here. So nice cool brown green. And then you're just gonna first make the branches so you know where the branches go. Go in there, there. Gonna dip the brush in water a bit so it's a little easier to paint these lines. All right, now same brush. You want to use a flat tipped brush for this one and just kind of work those angles to give yourself the pine tree or palm tree little branches. And this is going to be a pretty repetitive process here. It's going to be the same thing for all of these palm trees. If you want to hold the brush this way, you can get your work done a little faster. It's just not always going to make the same limb line as you might want. So like I said, we covered up most of our clouds there, so they didn't have to look perfect. I guess another good idea would be to start with the palm tree farthest back, because I just overlapped this one, and this palm tree on the far right is actually closer to us than the other palm tree that I just painted. So yeah, let's start with the palm trees in the farthest back. All right, now this is where it would be beneficial to have a finer brush if you want to get more detailed, or you could just, you know, have fun with it like I am here and just kind of make your branches with a larger brush. They're just not going to look, you know, quite as realistic. There is a lot of overlap here with the angle that these palm trees are oriented. And once I get all this green on the branches, we're not going to be totally done yet, because we do have some light kind of hitting these branches and warming them up a little more. So I'm going to add a little bit more color and detail to the branches, I think. Alright, let's do one more right here. There we go. Alright. So that's looking pretty good so far. Now let's add, with our brush here, some lighter spots on these palm trees. So I'm just taking my green, mixing it with some medium yellow, a little bit of orange, and a lot of the light yellow. And let's also grab some green again. And some more medium yellow. All right, good. Now we got like a nice color for where the light's kind of peeking through these branches. So I'm just taking the brush and just kind of in a couple spots on the branches, adding some of this paint, just so we don't have like a really basic silhouette. So we have a little bit of light that's actually peeking through, and we want to show that without going too crazy, spending too much time, or going into too much detail. Just gives us a little bit more to the painting. Right now I'm just kind of holding the brush any way that it's holding paint, and wherever the paint is on the brush, and I'm just letting it throw that color onto my trees. And now towards the end here, I don't want to go too crazy with this light color, but I want to get it in there, so there we go. All right. I'm gonna dabble more right there. And right there too. Nice. So that looks better. And we also can go and add like a little bit of color, a little bit more to the trees. So if I just take some white and some blue, mix it with that purple we already had, maybe like a dab of black too. And then we just kind of make a little like half circles. It's a little too bright. Then that gives us a little texture to these trees too. And then even if you go over the sides a little bit, it just makes them look even more real, because palm trees all have like a little bit of bark. They're not perfectly smooth. Oops. And then for these ones farther back, we'll just like add a little line just to say, okay, here's a little bit of something going on here. All right. And then we gotta rematch our base color for the ground here, or just get like almost like a shadowy color so we can make the bottoms look more realistic. I think I like this idea of like a nice shadowy color. Looks pretty good. All right. And lastly, we're just gonna work on this base. So we're gonna do our trees going into the water. So it's not going to be a perfectly straight line again. It's going to have like a little bit of parts that are straight, and then like a little bit of like turns or like little zigzags, because the water's here. The water's rippling, so we're not going to have that perfect shape that we had going up here. Then you're going to have more and more black, or like a cool purple color for where the actual branches are coming out. And adding the reflection is really what makes a painting with water in it look more realistic. Because the water just like really refracts everything, and showing that in a painting makes it look really real. You can dip your brush in water if you want to get a little bit more detailed with your lines or your squiggles. And our shadows, don't make it all the way down to the bottom once we're getting farther away. They're also getting a little bit less. Oh, they're getting thinner. They're still dark though. All right, let's get this one. Just getting much smaller down here and more broken up. There we go. So that looks pretty good for the reflection so far. And let's see. To me, I think the trees still look pretty flat, so maybe I'll add some more to the trees. Nice. Fong. Hello, how are you? Thanks for joining the chat. Alrighty. So we're getting there. We're getting close to the end. I think I'm going to add a little more color to the water, and especially in this like bottom foreground area, and then maybe a little bit more to the trees. And then we'll call it a painting. So we should be done, I think, in the next 10 minutes or so. Alrighty. So I'm just going to take some black and try throwing that up in the cloud, in the trees here, and see what that does for me. Yeah, I think that makes it have a little bit more dimension, so we'll do that to all the trees. So I'm just taking pure black and making some lines, a couple little shadows here and there. Adding some little like coconut type things. Alright, I think that looks a little bit better. I'm the type of person that really likes to do detailed work. So, if we were doing the detailed work that I would like to do on these trees, we'd be here for much longer than an hour and a half. But I think we got the general idea for the trees. I think I'm okay with that. Maybe like a hint more blue for the base too. Just add like a little more color to one side or something to make them look a little bit less flat. Yeah, that's better. Could even try doing like a hint of black along the sides here. Yeah, I think that helps too, actually. Gives us like a nice little shadow to work with. All right. Now let's work on the water. All right, so I'm using that color I already had mixed, adding a little bit of light blue. That's just going to give me a nice highlight color again for the ripples. Get some more phthalo green. Phthalo green's a really nice color for water. So if you don't already have phthalo green in your palette, definitely recommend to get that. All right, got a little bit of yellow and light blue. And you need a little more white. Okie doke. All right, so we got our white here, and I'm gonna add a little more yellow, warm that up a bit. I'm gonna work on this color here. It's like a bigger build on our nice light color we had before. And then I want some green. A really nice, like, intense green color here. Just going to make this a little darker by adding more phthalo green for down here. And down here as well. Nice, all right. And then for my shadow color, I'm going to do like phthalo green with like a little bit of blue. And I'm just going to throw this shadow right here. A little more blue. Some black with some blue. Gonna keep building on the shadows down here. All right, now we can use some more pink mixed with a little bit of red and a little bit of blue. And we can throw in, actually, let's lighten that up. We'll add orange and yellow. Yeah, that's pretty good. And now we'll use this as like a shadow color for over here. A little more pink. And blue. So let this color kind of go around. All right, I'm gonna take some orange, mix it with my yellow. Oops, got a little bit of green in there. And orange. And we're gonna throw a little bit of that on top of the purple we just put in here. And have like a nice little highlight above our shadow color in the ripples. Lots and lots of nice colors in the water here. A little bit more over here. Alright, let's see. There's a couple more highlights on the water, and then I think this will be done. Take some of my orange and white. Just run these highlights like kind of right over that darker color. Just lots and lots of color in the water here. Alright, one last thing that I'm noticing here is that we have like a red-orange glow around some of the tree reflections in the water here. So I'm going to add some of that color, and that will bring this to life as well. That looks better. Alrighty. Looking good. Alrighty. It looks pretty good. Just gonna do one little thing here. I'm gonna make the bottom half of this be like the reflection on the water. And just by mixing blue and a little bit of black. There we go. Alrighty. So that's it. Painting's all done. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a comment if you have any questions or any ideas for what you would like to see me paint next. Oh, Joni's here, and Christy was here. Hi! Yay! An elf was here. Hey guys, sorry I got in the zone and I didn't check the chat for a little bit, but thanks for joining me and watching my fun painting here. So, let me see if I can put this back on myself. Hey! Alright, so I am all done with this painting right here, and if you want to recreate it and you need the reference photo, just email me. I'm commissions@thepaintingstoof.com, and I'll get that sent to you. And happy painting and happy holidays, everyone. Bye-bye!